Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 7 of albums that are 40 years old. In 2025, we're looking back to 1985, going back 40 years, celebrating 28, because there's 28 days in February. 28 albums that are our favorites from 1985 across all genres right there. Celebrating big time this year. Today we got a celebration too, because this is the debut album from this American band, released April 5th, 1985, recorded at Prairie Sun Studios in Cotati, California. I know where Cotati is. Used to drive by it all the time when I used to have to go up to Sebastopol, California, to my company's home office a lot when I first started working there many years ago. Driving all the way up from San Francisco up to Sebastopol, past Cotati all the time. Produced by Mark Whitaker, Ken Adams, and Todd Gordon for Torrid and Combat Records. I'm talking about the debut album from thrash legends Exodus, Bonded by Blood. Yeah, that's not the original album cover. I never understood why for this reissue, CD reissue, they did away with the album cover art, which is kind of awful, but it's like iconic, right? Instead, we just get this. Plain Jane, blah, blah, blah. There's the band right there. So, of course, this is the original founding lineup, comprised of the late Paul Bailoff on vocals, Gary Holt on guitars, Rick Hunolt on guitars, Rob McKillop on bass, and the great Tom Hunting on drums. One of the great, early thrash albums, right? Because in 1985, thrash is still starting to really creep out, right? We talked about the beginning of the series here, the beginning of the month. The first Megadeth album came out in 1985. You already got Metallica out, right? Slayer's already come out with their debut album. So thrash is all of a sudden starting to hit. Got Anthrax has already had their debut album. So this is kind of like the beginning. This is one of the great ones. And, the problem with Exodus is so many changes in singers. You got Bailoff is on this album. It's the only studio album he would sing on. Then they bring in Steve Zetro Souza. He would be in the band for a while. Rob Dukes would come into the band. Zetro would be back. Zetro's gone again. Dukes is back. It's just like, God, it's crazy, right? But yeah, what do we have on this album? We got the title track, Bonded by Blood, kicking it all off. Great track. I mean, this is probably their most aggressive and violent album. And they've got a lot of them. Obviously, they're a thrash band. Most of the music is like that. But I would say they never really did an album as raw and ragged and jagged and violent as this particular album. I think they would hone their skills going forward, get better production. The guitar playing would only get better. But there's just something about this album. It's just so raw and energetic. Most Exodus fans still cite this as their favorite album. You may have another one or two that might vie for it. That's kind of like the way with me. There's a couple other albums that I generally rank pretty damn high, right up with this, sometimes even over this. But this is a top 3 Exodus album for sure. The title track, Exodus, is up next. Great, memorable chorus, so good. And then There Were None. A Lesson in Violence is one of their most memorable songs from early in the catalog. It's just terrific. And I've gone on record on the channel before saying I was never a big fan of Paul Bailoff's vocals. He's great on A Lesson in Violence. He's just got this kind of nasally delivery that I never really liked all that much. I always preferred Zetro. Unfortunately, we didn't have more albums with Bailoff to see what else he could do. So it's kind of like this. That's it, right? Metal Command finishes off side 1, another ferocious track. And then over on side 2, you got a bunch of rippers. You got Piranha, another terrific track. No Love, Deliver Us to Evil is great, and then Strike of the Beast finishes off the album in grand fashion. Razor sharp twin guitars all over the place, just tremendous kind of thrashy speed metal riffs, just all over the place. Just great stuff on here. And as you can imagine, this did not land on any charts or certify. It's deemed a classic, but this is before thrash metal starting to really hit the charts, right? But Rolling Stone ranked Bonded by Blood as 45th on their list of the 100 greatest metal albums of all time. And this album by Loudwire was ranked number 1 on Loudwire's top 10 list of thrash albums not released by the Big Four, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, or Anthrax. I've always stated that those have been label as the top 4, probably just because of sales. But you've got like Exodus and Overkill and a few other bands and Testament that are bubbling right below that. And you could argue that this album especially is just as influential on the thrash metal scene going forward as any released by the Big Four. Right. So, and of course, no singles released on this album either. Right. But yeah, great album, legendary album in the annals of thrash metal history. So if you're in the know, you know, right? So if you are a fan, let us know what you think of Exodus Bonded by Blood down in the comments below. More importantly, list your pick for today, day number 7. And of course, we'll see you tomorrow for number 8 coming up on the channel. Professor's Picks coming up this afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay tuned for that. We've got tonight, prime time for Fusion Friday. We're going back to 1975. Celebrating 4 hours that are turning 4 hours. 4 albums that are celebrating 50-year anniversaries this year, and all 4 of them happen to be by some very famous drummers. So that's coming up tonight. Don't miss it. Tomorrow we've got the UK connection. Sunday we've got Ranking the Albums. Speaking of metal, Ranking the Albums of Omen, great underground US metal band. They've got 7 albums. Rich Catino, John Gaffney, and I will be ranking that catalog coming up on Sunday, and you should have some more things throughout the weekend as well. So stay tuned for all that. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. We'll see you soon because we're here all the damn time together. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.